Some assets belonging to controversial Durban businesswoman Shauwn Mkhize, better known as MaMkhize, will go under the hammer this morning in Johannesburg and Pietermaritzburg. This follows her battle with the South African Revenue Service over tax evasion. The Durban High Court granted SARS a search and a seizure order last year, attaching some of her cars. Mkhize allegedly owes the Revenue Service nearly 40 million rands. News from Africa's Skara Mafokane is following these developments for us. And Skara, just quickly, just to backtrack, how did we get to where we are currently and the link to Royal AM?
Good morning to you, Aldrin, and our viewers. So, MaMkhize's tax problems date back as far as 2011. But at the time, we know she was charged and made representations and submitted a written representation, and those charges were dropped then in 2011. But then subsequent to that, how we got here, last year, November, SARS went to court, the Durban High Court, crying foul that MaMkhize owes them at least 37.9 million rands in tax evasion. So that's where we are right now. And, you bring into the fold Royal AM 2021. That's the time that Royal AM they started investigating Royal AM rather in terms of ownership, MaMkhize owning it as well. So that's what brings us to this fold. SARS saying she owes us this much, and we need to attach her assets in order to recoup some of that money. And Aldrin, you can imagine, you can't mention MaMkhize we can't be without the flamboyant lifestyle she was living on Instagram with her show, as well. You could see the lavish lifestyle that she was living, which attracted some of the attention that brings us to where we are. So SARS saying, she owes us this much, we need to recoup it. We know that this morning the auction is going to take place from 8 o'clock actually here in Johannesburg and in Pietermaritzburg. In Pietermaritzburg, there's a ranch called Royal Ranch. That's where the team was housed or was based, and some of those assets there, we're talking about a minibus or rather a bus and a tour bus from Royal AM. You're talking about Bentleys, you're talking about Mercedes luxury vehicles from Mercedes-Benz. So all of those, SARS says, they attached in November last year after that order was granted by the Durban High Court, and that brings us to where we are right now. And those assets will be going under the hammer shortly after 8 o'clock. I'm not sure, Aldrin, at this stage, if our bite is ready, which we can play from the SARS spokesperson at the time, telling us what was what was seized and the process that will unfold after that.
Okay, let's listen to what CPT Sibeko had to say.
As you would ask, how long is the string? The truth of the matter is that where there's still non-compliance, regardless of who the person is, we would pursue that. So if you want to know how long will this take, it will take as long as we have not satisfied ourselves that everything else has been declared in line with what is expected of any a citizen who is a taxpayer who has legal obligation. Until those that have been met and we are satisfied that the status is now in line with a compliance status, until that is being achieved, we'll do what needs to be done in order to ensure that every little penny that belongs to the fiscus is being collected.
As you heard, every penny is collected. Until that is done, SARS will not leave her alone. And just to touch on Royal AM, in April, it was supposed to go under the hammer, the team itself, but that hasn't happened so far. So the status of the team itself, at this stage, we know that it's not participating in the Premier League at the moment. So that status is a bit unknown at the moment. But later in the year, we expect the team as well to go under the hammer, Aldrin. But in closing or in conclusion, I may just mention that we have been trying to get hold of MaMkhize herself, and our attempts have been unsuccessful at this point. But you may remember as well, Aldrin, an interview she did with Carte Blanche last year, where she was asked why she was evading the taxman And, you know, one would say the posture was very arrogant in the way she responded that, do you not have tax problems as well? If you were to be investigated, would the taxman not find any problems with you know, in your case as well? So the posture as well hasn't been so much welcoming towards you know, MaMkhize as well. But we will try and attempt to speak to her since her assets are on the hammer. And unfortunately, we don't know. we may just log in. We know that it's an online auction. Yeah. So you and I are more than welcome as well to bid.
What do you mean? What do you mean, you and I? What money do we have to be bidding for MaMkhize's assets? Thank you so much, Skara Mafukane, joining us in studio.